Hello, I'm Maria Hall Brown, and this is LA Currents. 2,785 square miles, 20 cities, 83 unincorporated areas. Yes, that is LA County's 5th district. And today I am delighted to be joined by the supervisor of said district, Kathryn Barger. So nice to have you here.
It's a real pleasure to be here.
That is an enormous geographical span. I can't fathom. And then we were even speaking earlier that you also, as part of the supervisors, represent the city of Los Angeles. So how does one even begin? I mean, that sounds like the size of a small country.
So, well, first of all, yeah, little known fact that all 5 supervisors represent the city of LA. All of us, I think it's the only city in LA County that gets all 5 supervisors representing them. If you really look at the county, we are basically the mayor and the city council for the unincorporated areas. Mm-hmm. All my cities have elected representatives. These cities vote for us to get into office, but we collaborate with the cities and their elected officials. So it's not insurmountable. It sounds like a lot, but in fact, I love the diversity. I love the fact that up in the Antelope Valley, the issues that are plaguing that area are different than what's going on in the East San Gabriel Valley. So it keeps me on my toes.
In LA, one of the huge concerns, both in the city and in the county, is homelessness. I mean, it's no longer just a problem, it's a literal crisis. It's top of mind, headline, and recently you took some of these discretionary funds, $2.3 million to deal with it. So what is it that you were hoping that could do, and what has it done?
Well, I allocated $2.3 million for the 5th district through my discretionary funds, or our discretionary funds.
Correct.
They're not mine.
Right.
And that is for teams that are going to go out and do outreach. And there are both a host, which is law enforcement focused, but also with LASA outreach workers that connect with services and housing. And I felt it was important. We're going to have 5 teams. One is going to be roaming throughout the entire 5th district. The purpose is really to do full-on, intense outreach in areas that we know the homeless congregate. It doesn't take a genius to know they're on our rail systems and on our transit systems, but they're also hanging out in our libraries during the day. So these teams are going to focus on developing relationships with those that are homeless and really push services as well as housing. And I'm hoping that doing this is going to show goodwill with the cities, because they're frustrated. They feel that it's gotten worse, and it has gotten worse. And I think that COVID has exacerbated it. I think COVID truly was the final nail as it relates to really the number of people that are on our street. And I don't think it has to do with housing alone. I think it has to do with mental illness and also substance abuse issues. And yet in the county, we are the safety net. We have mental health beds, and we're continuing to provide the care, but those beds are full. And then complicated with adolescents, we don't have enough beds for the adolescents who have a whole different standard of care as it relates to being hospitalized for mental health crisis.
So let's move into the adolescent crisis. I mean, there's also the issue of fentanyl, and it's such a tragic nightmare taking place. And I know that is another issue that you are extremely cognizant of. And how can you, as a supervisor, combat that?
You know, I got an education from a grieving father who lost his son. And I said, overdose. And he said, it's not an overdose, it's a poisoning. And he was absolutely right. This is not young people overdosing, this is young people taking a pill that they buy on the street that they think is, an innocent pill that's going to make them feel high. And they don't realize that it's laced with fentanyl. And there is no quality control when you're buying pills off the street. And it's heartbreaking. It is heartbreaking. And that is my largest fear, because these are not kids that need to go into treatment. These are kids that are experimenting, and for many of them, it's the first time. And so what are we doing in the county? We're providing Narcan to all school districts and making that available and training the schools on how to administer that. And for those that don't know what Narcan is, that will affect those that are overdosing and actually save their lives. And they think they're buying something that is a narcotic. They have no idea what it's laced with. It was not that long ago, well, it was long enough ago. But I think when you're young, you think you're invincible, and you think it's not going to happen to me. I get it. When I was young, I wanted to jump out of an airplane. Now, you couldn't pay me to do it. I think that as you get older, you realize just how vulnerable you are and how precious life is. When you're young, though, you think it's not going to happen to me. So what are we going to do? We're going to do education, but we're going to do education at a level that's going to be a peer-to-peer education, because if I did a commercial trying to tell someone not to do it. It's,
Sound like the Snoopy
it's
teacher.
apparent, yeah. So we are putting together an educational program that is really going to, I hope, speak to the youth. But the reality is that they're seeing their own die. And if that doesn't wake them up, I don't know what will.
I'm going to go into one more sad subject, and then we're going to talk about positive things, because there's a lot of really good things happening in the district. But another issue that you're very concerned about are veterans and the rate of suicide. What is the situation in that regard, and what can be done to help these people who have, served our country, who are obviously in crisis?
I say two things. Number one, you should never use the word homeless and veteran in the same sentence, and yet we've got thousands of veterans that are facing homelessness each and every day. The second is suicide. They gave their all so that we could be here speaking our mind and our freedom. And they come back and they face a lot of obstacles, and many of them are committing suicide. So we put together the first of its kind suicide prevention program here in the county, and we are going to look at what do we need to do to support our veterans so that we don't have a high suicide rate. We owe the Vietnam vets a lot because they truly didn't get the welcome they deserved coming home. And I think it taught us that we as a country need to do better. And so I always make a point of especially thanking Vietnam vets, but also acknowledging that they really did make a difference for those that are coming home now. And we embrace them and thank them for their service.
Lots of wonderful things happening in the district. What are some of the things that you have been really joyously able to participate in?
Wow, I have to say that in the county, there's always something going on. And I think with COVID, hopefully in the rearview mirror, we have a lot of nonprofits that are once again opening up and raising money. And I have a soft spot for Children and Family Services. And so I've been going to a lot of galas that are raising money for Sycamore's 5 Acres, Hillsides, out in Santa Clarita Valley, Homes for Life and Homes for Families, doing homeless services. So I've been busy really kind of getting back into that. I'm also looking forward to, as we approach the holidays, we're getting ready to do a foster event for foster families at Magic Mountain, which we do every year around Christmas time. And the park opens up for foster children to come with their families, and we give out gifts, etc. So this time of year, we're getting ready for the holidays, and it feels good post-COVID to be able to really look forward to some fun things ahead of us.
Speaking of ahead of us, so many spotlights on the idea that it was an all-woman Board of Supervisors. How has that been? How has the communication been? Do you think the Board of Supervisors has been altered, changed, enhanced, or has it just been people with their head down really making sure that everything is as well as it can be for the county?
It's been exciting to be really the first all-woman board. When I started with the county, I was working for a supervisor, and we had 5 men. So we've come a long way in 35 years. And I do think women are wired differently, and so they approach problems in a far different way. It doesn't mean that men do it, are not any better at it, but it's just different.
This has been such an enlightening and interesting, and I wish we had more time, opportunity. I hope you will come back and tell me all the things that are moving forward.
Absolutely, it would be my pleasure. This has been really enjoyable.
Okay.
Thank you.
And if people do want to get some more information about you and about District 5 and about what's happening with the county at large, what's the best way for them to find out?
They can go to kathrynbarger.lacounty.gov and sign up for my newsletter, or we've got an area where you can write in and we will get back to you.
All right, more to come.
Thank you.
And that's a wrap on this LA Currents.